Guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share something a little bit different with you guys. Instead of a Friday favorites, I wanted to do a lot of fails. So these are all the products that have failed me over the past couple months. So as you guys know, I started a Makeup Basket Monday series where I tried different products out each week. So I kind of doing a makeup rotation so that I'm trying to test out most of my products that I own so that they're getting used regularly. So what I wanted to do today is actually share with you guys all the products that have failed me in those Makeup Basket Monday series. So I have kept all of them in a little box here. Some of them I may not have shown. Some of these may have just been products that I was going to use and then I started to use them and I was like, no. So let's get started because this is a pretty big box. So the first thing I have is the Ulta Fabulous Face Compact Foundation. This foundation does not work for me because I think it's really cakey on my skin. I put it on and like every single line and wrinkle I have going on my skin, it tends to show up. So even some that weren't there to begin with, I start to have wrinkles that were never there. So this foundation is a no-go for me. So I'm going to toss this. Some of these things that can be passed on, I will pass on, but something like this that's a cream product, I'm not going to pass on. I'm just going to go ahead and toss. The next thing is the Ulta Voluptuous Volume Mascara. This mascara did not work for me. I don't like the wand to it. The wand is too big. I feel like the wand is so big and wonky that I'm like, whoa. I feel like it's just like, look, I mean, it takes up half my, oops, I got it on my eyelashes. It takes up half my eye. I didn't see any kind of volume with this. So like something that's claiming to have volume gave me no volume. So I was like, nope. The next thing is another mascara from Ulta. This is the Legendary Length. This one did nothing for length. I feel like this one gave me spottery lashes, which is fine if you like that style of lashes. But for me, I want the length too. It just kind of, for me, it kind of melted my lashes together where it looked like instead of having 3 lashes, I have 1 lash. So that was a no-go. The wand was okay. The wand's a typical like plasticky type of wand. So the wand for me isn't bad, but it just was no-go. I don't like that one. The next one is the CoverGirl So Lashy Blast Pro. I don't like this mascara either. This is another mascara that I feel like the wand is just crazy. There's no way in heck I could even use that wand. I have trouble with mascara to begin with, and then to put a giant wand like that on there, that was a nightmare for me to try to use. So that is another mascara that I'm tossing. Another mascara is the Wet n Wild Lash Renegade mascara. I've heard some people really love this mascara, but for me it didn't work. The wand is a little bit wonky again. It looks kind of like a torture device. I don't like the wand. I don't like the formula. I don't like anything about this. This is another one that was a no-go for me. The next thing are some blushes from Wet n Wild. So I have the Ombre blushes. This is the Princess Daiquiris. And then I also have In a Purple Haze. In a Purple Haze literally looked like somebody bruised my cheek. So I was like, oh my gosh, I like a purple blush, but not to where it looks like somebody punched me in the face and I have bruised cheeks. So that's not going to stay. The other one is the Princess Daiquiris. This one shared up on me hardly up at all. I could put this on my cheeks and build it up and build it up and build it up, but then I'd have a big powdery mess. It just didn't show up. So it had no coloration for me. It had not enough pigmentation is what I'm trying to say. There wasn't enough pigmentation. I know a lot of people are saying that these are comparable to like the new It Cosmetics ones, but honestly, no. The It Cosmetics ones are a lot better than these. These are just, they're not my cup of tea. The next thing is the Wet n Wild Fergie. This is the Center Stage collection. This is the Carnival in Rio. So this is the bronzer. I feel like it's too orange for me. When I use this, my skin looks very, very orange, which I know a bronzer has a little bit of an orange tone to it, but this looks very orange on me. So this was a no-go. Let me swatch it for you. You can see how it just looks orange on me and I don't like it. So it looks almost like golden orange. I'm like, no. That is not something I'm going for. My favorite bronzer that I've ever tried so far is the Physicians Formula, the Butter Bronzer. That one is the best, hands down, drugstore, high-end foundation, I mean not foundation, but bronzer I've ever tried. So if you're looking for a good one, check that one out. The next thing is something by Be a Bombshell. This is the Be a Bombshell Whisper Bronzer. I'm assuming this is supposed to be a bronzer because, oh my goodness, this is not a bronzer for me. It looks gold. Like when I put it on my skin, it literally looks like gold. And I'm like, no, I don't want my skin to look like that either. I don't want it to look too orange. I don't want it to look too gold. I want it to have just the right amount of color to it, like the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I feel like that is the best. So everything else, like I compare it to that and I'm like, nope, you're not as good. So you're gone. The next thing is the Wet n Wild Mega Cushion Color Corrector. And this one is for redness. This is the green one. I don't feel like it helped with redness whatsoever. I feel like there's not enough pigmentation to these. This is another cream product, so this is something I cannot pass along to someone. So let me see if I can open it. I put the little seal back on it because I was trying to preserve the wetness. But it's just very there's not enough pigmentation here. Like, you can hardly even see the green. So I guess if you don't have a whole lot of redness going on your skin, then you could probably use this and get by with it. But for me, my redness is real because I have some major acne issues. So I need something that's actually going to give me some sort of coverage. If I'm going to make the effort in putting the green concealer on, then I want it to actually do something. The next thing is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palette, and this is in Dulce de Leche. I know a lot of people like this, and it's not that I hate it, it's just that I don't love it. So for me, I'm starting to get rid of products that I just don't love. If I don't love it, it's not staying. The colors for these are okay. So here's what they look like swatched. I think they're okay. They're nothing to brag about. And the white one is very, very powdery. So that was the other concern I had with it. If I'm only going to like part of it, only like 50% of it, then why am I keeping it? Because I know I'm not going to pull it out for that one product. Typically, I'm going to pull something out for both products, not just one. So I'm not keeping that because it didn't impress me. The next thing is the Physicians Formula, the Instant Ready Face Primer. This stuff, I have no idea how it works. I have no idea if it works or if it doesn't work or not, because the pump to it is completely broken. Like, oh my gosh, it's gonna pump now. After all that time, I have pumped this thing, I'm not kidding you, like 100 times, and I never got any primer out of it. Go figure that today I would get some primer out of it. Wow, it just made a liar out of me. So maybe I'll have to give that a shot now that I'm actually getting some primer out of it. It feels very silicone-y, so I'm not sure that I'm going to love it in the first place. I'm going to stick that back on my desk and try that out now that I actually got some primer out of it. The next thing is the Balm Put a Lid on It. This is the eyelid primer. The reason why I don't like this is because I like an eyelid primer that's going to help with discoloration, because I do have some discoloration on my eyelids. So I need something that's going to help with that, and this does not help with that. This is more of a silicone base. And it does help prolong your makeup though. So if you're looking for something to help prolong your makeup, this will help prolong your makeup. But it just doesn't have any color to it. So as you can see when I rub it in, there's no color. And for me, I need that color. So anything from here out that I have that's as far as eyelid primers that don't help with discoloration, they're getting tossed because I need something to help with discoloration. My favorite one, hands down, is MAC Painterly Paint Pot, even though I know that's an actual paint pot. It's like an eyeshadow. I think that's what it's typically for. But I use it as a primer and it works perfect for me. So everything else is like, you got to compare it to that. That's what I compare it to. The next thing is the CoverGirl True Blend Face Primer. And this is supposed to be for dry skin. This stuff stinks. It smells terrible. I don't like the smell of it. It's a lotiony consistency, but it just smells weird. It smells like, like popcorn or something. It smells bad. I don't know if maybe I just have a bad one or what, but it just doesn't smell good. It smells like bad popcorn, like cheesy popcorn. Gross. It's just really gross. The next thing is this is something I'm getting rid of because I have a duplicate, so there's nothing really wrong with this product. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Sunset Junction, so I'm just going to pass this on because I already have another one of these. I have two of these. This is actually a pretty good one because the blush is actually really pretty, the highlight's really pretty, and the bronzer is actually really pretty. So this is something I'm just passing along because I have a duplicate. The next thing is something from the Ulta Beauty collection. This is the Ulta Beauty Apricot Blush and the Yellow Diamond Highlighter. I don't like the Yellow Diamond Highlighter, first of all. I feel like it's very rough to the touch. It's got a very hard texture to it. The Apricot Blush is okay. It's nothing to brag about. So these two products for me, again, are just a no-go. So I don't think there's so many. I think I've tried a lot of the Ulta brand products, but I feel like the ones that are like in this packaging style right here, I think these are like the free things that come with, like, if you purchase something, then you get like a free little bag of makeup. A lot of those makeup items aren't that great. So if you're looking at the Ulta brand, don't judge it on those free little pouches they give you because they're not the best quality. The next thing is the Ulta Butter Balm Lip Gloss is in the shade Belle. This one doesn't have any color to it, so I don't really like it because I'm getting rid of all of my glosses that don't really have a color to it. The only purpose they're serving is to make your lips look juicy. I don't really want that. I can use a chapstick and get the same effect, so if I'm going to actually make the effort of pulling out a lip gloss, I want it to have a little bit of color to it. It doesn't have to be super pigmented or anything like that, but it needs to have some sort of color. I'm going to pull you guys in just a little bit because I feel like you guys are really far away. So there. Maybe we're a little bit closer now. The next thing is the Maybelline Fit Me. This is the Dewy Smooth Foundation. I don't really like this foundation. It doesn't work very well for my skin. I know a lot of people with dry skin do love this foundation, but for me, it just didn't work. So this is something that I don't think that is an all-around that I can say that if you have dry skin that you shouldn't get it, because I know a lot of people say that it does work. I think it's because I have severely dry skin, so that's why it doesn't work that well for me. It kind of shows up cakey looking on my skin, so I'm not keeping that. Then I have a brush here. This is the So Susan This is the highlighting brush. It's so flimsy that I'm just like, I can't use it. I know you could probably use it for dusting away shadows and things like that, but I need to just go through all my brushes and get rid of the ones that I don't use or I don't really like. So this is one of them so far that I'm like, nope, gotta go. Don't really use you, don't really need you. The next thing is something from the Balm. This is the I'm a Good Kisser lipstick, and this shade just doesn't work for me. It's one of those shades that I think only work for certain people. Like for me, if I put this on, I broke it too when I put it away. When I put this on my lips, I feel like it looks just awful on me. It looks, I don't know. Let me see if I can, let me show you what it looks like. Let me see if I can put it on. Let's wipe the other one off first. So you don't think that I'm just like saying it doesn't look good, and it really does. Do you see? It just doesn't work for me. It's just something about it just doesn't work. And I'm like, I don't like that on me whatsoever. It's a pretty color for somebody, just not for me. I think you have to have a certain skin tone or a certain skin tone in order to make that work well, because for me, it just didn't look good at all. Now it's stuck on my lips. The next thing is the Ulta Illuminating Powder, and this is the Yellow Diamond one again. Again, I feel like this is just a very, now the one in this one is a little bit softer than the one that was in the other one. So this is a little bit softer. This one's a little more powdery. I just don't feel like it works good for me though. I feel like it's too powdery. I don't feel like it's a good highlighter. You can blend it out like this and then it's okay. But honestly, I have better highlighters from the drugstore, and this just is not one. So she's leaving my collection as well. The next thing is something from LA Colors. This is the LA Colors bronzer. This bronzer is not a bronzer. Again, I feel like you put this on and you look like, I don't know, it just, look at that color. That color does not look like a good bronzer for me. I'm sure, like I said, some of these things are typical. They're mostly because they don't look good on me. It's nothing that they're bad products, most of these. It's that they just don't work for me. So if you love anything that I'm hating on in here, don't feel bad. That's okay. I'm glad you love it. I'm glad it works for you. It just doesn't work for me and my skin tone. So the next thing is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Makeup Stick, and this is the contour one. This again is too orange to contour with. There's no way I could contour with that and get by with it. I would look strange with a contour that looks like that. It's too orange. I'd end up looking like an Oompa Loompa, so that's a no-go. The next thing is the LA Colors. This is a blush, and this is in the shade Pink Blush. This is just too pale for me. Like, I try to put this blush on and like it hardly shows up. So if I'm going to, like I said, make the effort of putting makeup on, I want it to at least show up. The next thing is another mascara. This is the Bella Pierre Volume Lash Waterproof Mascara. First of all, I don't like waterproof mascaras because I feel like they're not that good for your eyelashes, because they will start to make your eyelashes fall out if you use them too much. I don't like the wand to this. The wand is just, it's just an average wand, but I just don't think it's that good. The formulation to this is okay. This wand is really weird too, because when you put it in, it wants to bend like crazy. Do you see that? That's really strange. So that's just another mascara that I'm tossing. A lot of these have been open for a while, so they probably should have been tossed anyway because they're past the 3-month mark. So the next thing is the NYX Liquid Suede. This is a bright pink lipstick. It's in the shade LSCL. So I'm going to put it on since I already took off my other lipsticks. I can show you why I'm not going to keep this. This is like a bright Barbie pink. Oh my gosh. Look at that. That is so bright. And it gets all over my teeth. And it smells a little bit weird, so I'm not even going to finish applying it because it's just a color that just doesn't work for me, and it's all over my teeth now. Oh my gosh, now I made a mess. Oh my gosh, it's getting worse. Lovely. Gotta get it off my teeth too. Okay, the next thing is this Hard Candy Trolls palette. My mom picked this up for me for Christmas, which I was so appreciative that she picked it up for me because I wanted this collection so bad. But these eyeshadows stink. They're not good at all. I just couldn't get them to work very well. There was only a handful in here that actually worked for me. The rest of them I felt like didn't have enough pigmentation, or they were just kind of like they broke apart when you try to put them on. So this was just a palette that I don't enjoy. So I'm going to pass that along. I'll probably end up giving it back to her and saying, hey, if it works for you, great. The next thing is another palette. This is the Soap and Glory Lid Stuff palette. This is another terrible palette. This one I feel like has no pigmentation, and the pigmentation that it does have, it just doesn't blend well. It just looks awful in my eyes. If you have this palette and you love it, maybe let me know if I'm doing something wrong. If you have either one of these palettes and they work great for you, let me know if I'm possibly doing something wrong, because that's a very good possibility. They just don't work for me. We have a couple more products in here. I have the Old Valley Pro Retinol Eye Treatment. This stuff burns my eyeballs. If you're going to put an eye treatment on, then it shouldn't burn your eyes, because how many times do you not get that in your eye? I know for me, anytime I can put any kind of eye treatment on, I end up getting it in my eye a little bit. So this got in my eyes and it burns, and I'm like, no. The next thing is the Physicians Formula. This is the Sexy Booster Ooh La La Sexy Black liner. I just don't feel like this is creamy enough. Like right now it's showing up pretty creamy, so everything's trying to make a liar out of me today. But I just don't feel like it's creamy enough for the areas that I want to use it for. I don't typically like a pencil liner for the top of my eye. I like a pencil liner for my waterline, and I just don't feel like it does a good job there. It kind of bleeds out some. So if it's going to be for my waterline, then it can't bleed, because that's an area where you're going to be constantly wet. That's kind of like working at a water park and being afraid of water. So that wouldn't be good. The next thing is the Stila Stay All Day Precision Glide On Brow Pencil. This one is so hard. Oh my gosh. Like, I had to literally almost scrape my eyebrows off to put this on. This is just no-go. I think there's something wrong with this one. I think it may be old, or maybe that's just how that formula is. Either way, I feel like it's a bad formula. It's too dry. The next thing is the Wet n Wild Eyeshadow Primer. This one, I know a lot of people say it's a very good one, but for me, again, it's just one of those that I don't like. This one does help with discoloration a little bit. Not a whole lot, because you can see it's going to help with just a tad. But I don't feel like it's a good one for me. I feel like, again, if it's not going to help with discoloration enough to where you're going to get rid of, I have a spot right here in the corner of my eye. If it doesn't get rid of that, then I don't want to use it, because that's the spot I always worry about. The next thing is the Makeup Forever Excessive Lash. This stuff is just no-go. I don't like the wand to this. It kind of falls off and gets dry. I don't know if this is supposed to be a dry formula or what, but it is very dry. Like, it gets into my eyes and I'm like, no. Then we have the Hikari, the Iris Liquid Eyeliner. So this one is not really black. It's like a purple liner. So as you can see here, it's like a purple. And that's pretty much the only reason I don't really like that, and the fact that it kind of bleeds out on me. So for me, if I'm going to use a liquid liner, it can't bleed either. So a pencil liner I'm putting on my waterline can't bleed, because it's going to be in the waterline. The liquid liner can't bleed out. So this one here, when I put it on my eyes, I noticed it would kind of fan out a little bit, and I'm like, I don't like that look. So that's not gonna stay. Then we have the Jessie's Girl Liquid Eyeliner, and this is in the shade, this is like a blue one, so I don't know if there's an actual shade on here or not, but this is just terrible. Like, there's hardly any pigmentation to this. Like, you have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it before you actually get any pigmentation. And I'm sorry, but I think a liquid liner should be able to do one swipe and you're good to go. If you're gonna have to keep building it up, then you're eventually gonna mess up your line in the first place. It's hard enough for me to get a good line on my eye, so I don't want to have to keep going over it and over it. So we have one more product in here, and that is the Rimmel Eyebrow Pencil. I don't like this because I think the color is off for me. I feel like it's a very hard product. When I put this on, it makes my eyebrows look orange. And then they have a little tip on here that you're supposed to be able to comb your eyebrows out with, and I don't like that either. I feel like that's a really crappy little brow product right there. I just don't think this is a good one. If you see this one in store, I don't know if there's a certain shade on here. Is there a shade? I don't see one. Hazel. What? How is that hazel? Anyway, I don't feel like this works good for me, so that's another thing that I'm actually getting rid of. So that is everything that I'm getting rid of from my Makeup Basket Monday series. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of a different change up for Friday instead of a bunch of favorites. These were all fails. So we have a ton of fails for today. Let me know of some products that you have tried recently that didn't work for you. Let me know of some products that you got that were holy grails for you. I'd love to know either way. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.